New York City has a new law that bans discrimination based on height and weight, and it has gone into effect, and I am so excited for this. This is, in my opinion, one of the final straws for wokeness. It is impossible. It is an impossible task. Let me explain. If you're a white person or black person or Asian person or male person or female person, it is possible to say, hey, no discrimination. It's hard to determine sometimes because let's say a black guy applies for a job. They say no job for you. He feels like it's because of his race. Well, good luck proving it. Most people probably just settle in court because they don't want to pay the legal fees because they're more expensive, but it's tough, especially when someone goes to the government and they say, represent me. And this means this person has effectively unlimited funds to go up against this company. It is not easy. But what if you're morbidly obese and very large and you say, I want a job here? And they say, you physically can't do the job. You're discriminating based on, You see, most jobs, I would say almost all jobs, except for like acting roles, anyone of any race could do. Or gender. Not all. Gender's a little different, right? Let's say you want to be a firefighter. There are firefighting jobs females can do and males can do. But if we want someone to pull a body out of a burning building, we're looking for a large, ripped man to do it. Or a robot, I guess, if you build it. So are we going to have 300-pound firefighters who can't move? How are you going to fight a fire? Doesn't matter. You can't discriminate on the basis of weight. Let's read. The New York Post says, a new city law that bans discriminating against someone because of their height or weight went into effect last week, 6 months after Mayor Eric Adams first signed the legislation. The law adds those two categories to the list of characteristics that are protected from housing, job, and public discrimination, alongside things like age, gender, race, religion, and sexual orientation. All New Yorkers, regardless of their body shape or size, deserve to be protected from discrimination under the law. Body size discrimination affects millions of people every year, contributing to harmful disparities in medical treatment and outcomes, blocking people from access to opportunities in employment, housing, and public accommodation, and deepening existing injustices that people face. New York City is leading the nation with this groundbreaking anti-discrimination law. Impossible! I'm so excited. Now, take a look at this picture here. We have a new city law that bans discriminating against someone based on their height or weight. Look how many people in this photo are obese. Let's see. I'm going to be real with you. The guy on the left, he looks slightly average to slightly high in terms of his weight. You have this woman. This woman is morbidly obese. This woman seems to be average. This man seems to be average. You've got an average woman, a man who is overweight, a woman who looks like she may be leaning towards overweight, but I can't see. She's blocked, and maybe it's just a dress and frumpy, but maybe overweight. This woman is morbidly obese. Then this woman behind her we can't see, but probably it looks like the majority of people in this photo are obese. The woman on the right, I hate to say it, guys, people are going to be shocked to hear this. The woman on the right is obese. She is not morbidly obese. She is obese. This is why they're doing it. Yes. Now let me simply explain to you why it is an impossibility. Let's say someone is transgender. And they are very discernibly male, but they're wearing a dress and lipstick, and they come to the job and say, I'd like to be a barista at Starbucks. Okay, well, you can say, look, we can't tell you what you can or can't wear. That'd be discrimination. So the funny thing is it discrimination to say that a person can't wear high heels? Well, the work says everyone, regardless of gender, has to wear the same shoes. Okay, fine, fair point. Not discrimination. If they said you can wear whatever shoes you want and then told someone not to wear heels, then you could argue they're discriminating based on your style of clothing and your gender identity. But for the most part, someone who is trans can apply for a job, and there is no reason based on being trans they can't do that job. There are probably some circumstances. My point is, they say you want to make coffee, you can make coffee. Now let's say someone is very tall. Well, they can simply walk in and the person's not going to get fired for being too tall. You can still make the coffee, right? You're 7 feet tall, you're good. Let's say someone is 300 pounds and they struggle to walk of their own volition, under their own power. Okay, now things are getting interesting. You see, based on the non-discrimination based on disabilities, buildings have to have disability access, even in West Virginia. Let me tell you, my friends, we are trying to build this cafe. This building that we have has several floors. We want to utilize a side entrance and a second floor for additional aspects of the business, the club, which will include games and a skate shop and things like that. The problem? There's no way for handicapped people to get to the second floor. Thus, we are not allowed to do it. Seriously. That's kind of weird, right? They said if you want to open this to the public, it has to have handicap accommodation. Okay, well, we have an elevator, but the elevator is one of the oldest in the country. It's an antique historical elevator we don't want to get rid of. And so it's not for use by the general public. We could strip it, knock it out, replace it with a modern elevator. That would suck. We're looking at potentially doing repairs to get it up to code, but it's still, it's an old school elevator. It's got the crank. You turn it and it goes up. And so we literally just can't open to the public. Think about that. We could create a public good, a service for the public, but we have to build some. So like, how do you do a wheelchair ramp up to the second floor? The ceilings are 16, 17 feet. It's a lot. So there are options. There are the things where the chair can hook onto it and it goes, and it drives up, or we can change the elevator or whatever. But I'm like, wouldn't this city benefit from the business being here, even if a small percentage of people could not easily access it? No, you're not allowed. Okay, fine, I guess. What happens if someone comes to a Starbucks and they weigh 400 pounds and they have to be moved by a very large electronic device, a large scooter perhaps, and they go up the wheelchair ramp and they can't fit in the door? I'm not being cute. You say, but Tim, there's so few people like that. Sure. And what's the percentage of people who are in wheelchairs who can't go upstairs? It is relatively small. We can't open a business because of that relatively small population. Now, don't get me wrong. We'd love to accommodate them. We want to make sure they can come here too. But it's too difficult for us to actually sort this out right now. So we'll have to figure it out. That's why we're probably just going to have it be private. Private only, not open to the public. Because we just don't have the means to build that. Isn't it better that the place exists than doesn't? Okay. How are you going to be non-discriminatory when people can't fit through doors? Seriously. What's going to happen is stores are going to all have to switch to a double door system. I'm not exaggerating. Many businesses, to avoid accusations of discrimination based on gender identity, have gotten rid of men's and women's rooms and switched to, instead of 2 big rooms with multiple stalls, 4 individual rooms. I like the individual room. I like to close and lock the door and mind my own business and have privacy while I'm doing my business, if you know what I mean. But this is a big change. Some places in Europe, just in the UK particularly, they got rid of men and women's changing rooms, and now the showers for the pool is just do your thing. Why? Because we can't build 2. We're not going to build a series of individual stalls outside. We're going to build a big shower room, and you get to pick the stall, but you can be a man or a woman. That's the change. In New York, there will be someone who's morbidly obese, and they're going to say, I was discriminated against at Starbucks because I couldn't even get in the building based on my weight. And they're going to say, it wasn't based on your weight, it was your size. Height is included. That means my size, doesn't it? And the courts are going to agree. Starbucks, you need to be able to accommodate people to fit through the doors. That's the law. So what they'll do is all of these businesses are going to shift. They may grandfather them in because some businesses are grandfathered, but most have to have wheelchair access or somehow. They'll be grandfathered in, or what will happen most likely is they'll say, you need to start building double doors. And that's what every business will do. Otherwise, you're going to get sued for discrimination against people based on their weight. I think this is absolutely hilarious and pathetic. Science has shown that body types is not a connection if you're healthy or unhealthy. Lie. Look at this. Authored a book about losing 35 pounds. I think it's a misnomer. It absolutely is. I heart fat New York. What does it mean to discriminate against someone based on their weight? Can a person who weighs 300 pounds, I don't know, be a firefighter? Sure. What can they do? Can they fit into the uniform? Can they go into burning buildings? Wow. Can they fit behind the wheel of a car? Can they fit in the trucks? So now dump trucks, patrol cars, vans, fire departments are going to have to create special accommodations for morbidly obese individuals. And imagine this. A man who weighs 600 pounds and can only be moved by a crane is going to say to the city, it's not my fault. I can't move. Imagine this. They apply online for a job. They say, you're hired. They say, okay, I can't move. what's going to happen? The police department, the fire department, the city is going to say, well, we can't not hire them now. That would be illegal discrimination. So the city must provide a crane to move the individual. It's going to be fun. Good luck, fatties. I mean that sincerely. This woman loves fat New York. The fat people are fighting for their rights. I prefer the stop eating garbage, preservatives, cut out the carbs, exercise, and good luck. Next segment's coming up at 1 p.m. on this channel. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.